I just finished an interview with the Free to Be show with Cordelia Gaffar, and I have to say it was such a amazing privilege. She's so soft and wonderful, and I really had the feeling that I was able to help not only her but also her listeners.
Welcome to
and I
the
would
Free to Be
highly
Show.
recommend that you
I
tune.
am a stand for peace, love, joy, bliss, sexual pleasure, spiritual connection, elemental connection with nature, and restoring worthiness in women. That requires four-mind alignment with your thoughts, heart, nutrition, and yoni. Be a stand for your ultimate joy so that you are replenished and aligned. Are you free? Receive replenishment. To the Free to Be show. I'm so happy to have you here today to specifically talk about whether or not we allow ourselves to be free to create relationships.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So I'm wondering, you specifically help people who are 50 and over to create relationships. You must find many programming resistance within these people that you work with. Is that true?
Yes, I am. Because what I do is I often talk about the 3 level of relationship. And the first level is the I, which is me. The I is you. The second level is the we, you and I, or you or the close people, like your spouse, your partner, your children. If you're still very connected with your parent, maybe your siblings. So that's the little nudge there. And then the they, which is everybody else's. But what's most important is what's in those 3 is me. I'm in all my relationship. So that's why I feel that it's very important to be aligned with how, first of all, if you want to make changes in your relationship, you have to change yourself and look at what is the programming that I've had over years that created the individual that I am. And if I'm not having great relationship, perhaps what needs to change is that programming, and to change how you think about yourself, how you think about others, and how to interact with them.
Mm. And what do people discover?
Well, we often blame, right? It's your fault. It's your fault. It's not my fault. Like you hear that a lot, right? It's not my fault. That's how I was raised. That's not my fault. Once you decide to say, my life is my fault. It's my creation. I have created my life the way it is. And then you can make some adjustment, and often with the help of a coach, because it's not always easy to go back and introspect and all that. But you can make adjustment to start to make little groove that's going to change you away from your path. Because our life, and I don't know about you, but I'm comfortable in my life. I'm like a straight highway, and the grooves are really big, and making some changes sometimes it's not easy. So what we need to do is create a new road, create excavate, and then create and break little path. And then you slowly start to go in new direction. And then eventually that path is beautiful. It's a new road. You can slide on it and you're comfortable. And then you forget the old one. And that's how we change, is slowly building a new path for ourselves, and for just letting the other one go. And we know in nature, if you have a road that has not been used for years, nature starts to grow again on it, and the road kind of disappear. And that's the same in our brain. If we don't use it, the neurons are going to do their thing, and we create a new pathways in our brain that allows us to make the changes we decide where we want to go, because we want to have wonderful relationship with the people around us.
You know what? I'm very confident that you're really excellent at what you do.
Thank you.
Because just listening to you describe it so just Yeah, I mean, and like I could feel what you were talking about. I could feel the transformation you take people through. It was almost like a healing for me, and you don't even know my story. I'm like, man, I'm healed. I'm just talking to you.
I'm cured.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad.
Yeah.
You feel that way.
Yeah, but that's just me. I'm sure everybody else that's listening to this is like, okay, what are her details again? Yeah, so her name is Denise Belisle, and it's like a little island. I love your name. It's so beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful island, Belle-Île.
Belle-Île.
It's French from Montreal.
Oh, so wait, Belle-Île is a place too?
Actually, there's in Europe there is.
Okay, because it did sound familiar for another reason, but we digress. So
we'll do it off recording.
Yes. So to continue, so this is the transformation that you take people through.
Yeah.
And then from there, is it that they magnetize their partner?
It's once we stop taking responsibilities, step number one. Secondly, we stop blaming, because then you take full responsibilities. Then, I don't know about you, but I don't like to be blamed, and that pushed me away.
Yeah.
But once I take responsibility and I praise people for the greatness they bring in my life, they want to get closer, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're being attracted, because the more you blame, the more you push, the more you praise and recognize the greatness in these people, the more they're like, oh, I like that person. Regardless of who that is, you praise anybody, you give them compliments, you thank them for being in your life, you thank them for, if it's your partner, your spouse, or whatever, if you're a man and your wife made dinner, wow, thank you so much for making dinner, it tastes delicious, right? And then you pick up your plate and put it in the dishwasher yourself, right? And she would say, oh, thank you so much for cleaning up and helping out. Like, it's all like, once you start praising one another, a lot of problem will get resolved. Maybe not all of them, but it's the start of grooving that pathways to get to where you want to go.
Yeah, and genuine praise too is what I'm hearing you say.
Course, yeah.
Yeah, we're not like making it up, because that's just putting shine over shit, isn't it? But this one is like
hair freshener in the bathroom, right? Like,
right, I know, but this one you're like actually getting in there and digging out all the dirt.
Yeah.
Right? And then you're filling it up with gold.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
It's like taking a cavity. That? I like your analogy. I saw a cavity, right? You take a cavity out, but you fill it up with gold, like the bad stuff is out, but now you're putting gold into that.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I'm curious, like, where did it all begin for you? Like, was this your journey?
Yeah, well, in some ways, yes, because I lived a life, like, I'll go quickly back. I was the baby of 6 children. And busy household. And
I have 6 children, I know.
Yeah. And then, being the last one, I'm sure you do the same, ask your kids, take care of so-and-so, take her with you. And my sibling was like, I don't want anything to do with her. So my feeling was like feeling rejected, and my defense mechanism was verbal, because I was too tiny, right, to be physical. So I became verbally abusive with the people around me. Every time I would be cornered, I would be negative and nasty and all that. And then I discovered meditation and self-awareness and all of that. And then over the years, I work on myself, and I had ups and downs and all that. And in the mid-90s, I found emotional intelligence. And what I found with emotional intelligence, it allowed me, that's where I started to take responsibility for my life and understanding relationship with other people and how to interact better. And a couple of years ago, I found positive intelligence. And positive intelligence, like the cherry on the sundae, it allowed me to, I feel, for me, when I talk about and I experience positive intelligence, it's like putting a force field around me that whatever events happen in front of me, I have the choice. It's like, do I let that in or not? It creates a buffer between me and my emotion that it's nice to recognize the emotion. It's nice to say, oh, I'm really upset right now, and take a couple of minutes to assess that. But staying there, it's not very useful for the brain and it doesn't help. So then my next step is like, how can I learn from that experience? What's the gift into that situation? How can I navigate through that, as opposed to getting stuck in the past? Because you say, well, the past, it just happened. Yeah, but it's still the past. You can't change it, right? Yeah. Even if you just had like a fight with someone, and now you just step out, take some fresh air, and you're upset, it's right behind you. Okay, yeah. What do I want to do now with that situation? Do I want to go back inside and say, you know what, I'm sorry. You know, I overreacted. Again, take responsibility, right? I didn't listen to you properly. I anticipate what you were going to say, and that's not what you meant, you know? So when you come out like that with someone after you had a fight, like the other person is like, oh, okay, thank you. You know, and honestly saying thank you, because they're diffused also, right? If you come with love, if you come with understanding, taking responsibilities for the fact that, for example, you had a fight, then it's like, okay, you know, you can't really fight that, you know?
It creates safety.
Yeah.
And that's what we really love to have in relationships, is safety and trust and compassion and love. And so it sounds a little bit like nonviolent communication too, you know,
Pretty much. Yeah. Because it's fighting, for me, it's like putting oil on fire. Every time you respond negatively to someone, you just drop oil on the fire. And then every time the next comment come, oil on the fire. And then the next comment, oil on the fire. And then the fire just kept getting bigger. So what I propose for a change is like extinguisher, right? It's like diffuse that fire. That's it. There's no more.
Yeah. I'm working with my baby girl on that. She's the youngest of 6, and she's petite, you know, and so she does really lash us very well with her tongue.
Well, I understand her.
I think that's why we were matched together today.
Yeah. And I think, if as a baby of 6, if I can give you a recommendation, make her feel special. Find what's her love language, and praise her on her love language, because even kids, they have their love language, right? I don't know if you know about love language.
I do.
Yeah. So find what's her love language and praise her into that. Maybe her love language is wanting to
actually, I know what it is. Yeah, it is. That's exactly what it is.
She needs more attention. She needs more one-on-one. And that's why she gets nasty. If she was to get all the one-on-one, that will slowly disappear, in my eyes anyway.
Yeah, and I was explaining it to her, because I was like, your sister's love languages are giving gifts. That's why they fill up your room with toys, you know? So, but I personally do spend a lot of time with her. You know, it's just the scheduling of the dates with her siblings, you know, that is where we have challenges. But I will reinforce that, because I did, you know, it does get overwhelming from my perspective as a mom, you know, to try and, like, I know that you just want to give gifts, but she wants you to be with her for 3 hours, you know?
Yeah. Instead of spending time with her, they will say, oh, here's a doll, you know, go play. Like, no, I don't want to play with the doll. I want to play with you.
Right? Yes. So, but I love that. Thank you so much. I'm so happy that I had you today on the Free to Be show, and I got to meet you. I got some personal advice twice. And all the people, you know, that watch and listen to my show benefited from your knowledge as well. Is there anything else that you would like to put in this space?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, the 3 level of relationship, and the I is the most important. So when you find yourself in difficult relationship, that doesn't have to be at home. It could be at work. It could be with your friends. You're getting a fight with your friends or your parents, and go back to the I. How can I change my perspective of that situation? And how can I change my behaviors? And when you point the finger at you instead of pointing finger at others, people will notice that you are changing, And if they fight you for the change that you make, that's because they're not your people, or they don't respect you. But the people that love you really, and people that want to be with you, they will acknowledge you, and they will love you more, and they will want to be closer to you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. What a beautiful way to close. So for those of you who have benefited deeply, sharing is loving. Share with another soul, share with another heart. And until next time, be free. So are you free? Do you own your part in that? Rather than lingering in shame, guilt, and despair, let's see where you can create more freedom, more joy, and replenish from within. Visit me at CordeliaGaffar.com and sign up for the 5 ways to only create joy. Until next week, be free.